Deputy Catherine Murphy.
Thank you. Minister, the European Union's competence is not to determine who the regulator should be in this country. In actual fact, the whole issue of subsidiarity determines that we have a right to make those decisions for ourselves. And that is just a statement of fact. They're not going to tell us that we have to select Fingal County Council to be the regulator. They're not. We have entire autonomy in doing that. That's the kind of nonsensical kind of stuff that was fed, for example, to people in the United Kingdom for decades. And part of the reason why we're in a situation where there's such information around Brexit. We have entire responsibility and autonomy in selecting who's going to be the regulator. So let's be clear about that.
Minister, you will have 2 minutes.
So essentially, a regulator should. It's not that people always agree with a regulator, but the one thing that they need to have is trust that they're independent. So what you do is you avoid conflicts. You don't pick a regulator that is going to put them in harm's way in relation to conflicts, and that's what's going to happen here. Now, Fingal is actually one of the better local authorities in many respects, but you're going to create a situation where on the one hand they're making a decision for one set of things, and then you're going to ask them to regulate pretty much themselves in relation to some of the things that they've got to adjudicate on. Now, how can that possibly build trust? And if people don't have trust, well, then we're going to run into a difficulty. And you, of all people, understand, because you've talked about it for long enough, about independence and regulation and all of that, not necessarily in this particular, in the sense of this particular thing, but I think you understand the points, and I think you're defending the indefendable.